Hey everyone, welcome to my latest video. I am intending to create a series of thank you cards. I have this pile of 5 1/4 by 4 inch panels. They are a complete mismatch of different colors, different patterns. They were just part of my stash and every now and then I pull one out and use it for a project. I am trying to work through all of my supplies and all of my bits and pieces of unfinished projects. There is 44 of these panels in total, and I am going to partner them up with some standard A2 card bases, so they're 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. I'm also going to use the Concord 9th triple step thank you stamp set. This particular stamp set allows you to stamp a thank you in 3 different colors very easily because the stamp is actually broken into 3 different pieces. If we have a look at this on the back, you can see that the navy is one of the stamps, the pale green is another, and then the medium green is another, and it creates the thank you. I'm going to try out an interesting approach with my Misty. I've created a little template here that will allow me to put 3 of my panels into it, and then hopefully stamp 3 panels in one go when I line up and attach the stamps. My intent is to sort through my panels, organize them into complementary colors. If I decided I was going to use this color scheme here, which has oranges, grays, navies, and medium blue, if I sort through all of my panels here and I find all of the panels that sort of match that theme, you know, the brown doesn't match quite so well, for example, the bright reds don't match, nor the greens, but I do have some blues in here. This one's a bright teal blue, so I'll skip over that. This one here with the stripes looks like it's similar color tones, so depending on what I pick, I could possibly use that one. And then these ones here that are the dinosaurs, there's 2 different sides. If I use the dots, possibly those could work in together. My goal is to partner these up in a way that results in me not having to change colors constantly, but I can stamp these panels just repeatedly and do some mass production stamping and have some great panels that I can then put on all of these backgrounds and have them look great. For example, looking at the color schemes that I have here, if I partnered up orange, and then if I did something that was a bit more of a navy, and then maybe a powder blue, that could go on any of these panels here. I could do 14 of my 44 panels with exactly the same color scheme. Now, the other thing that I'm going to try and do is I don't need all of these to have the same colors in the same spots. So once I attach my stamps onto the cover of my Misty, what I'm planning on doing is, again, if I switch to this chit chat, and if I decide that I'm going to do the orangey yellow, navy, and then a medium blue, then I will do all 3 of these stamps in a medium blue, all 3 of these stamps in a navy, all 3 of these stamps in orange, and I will work my way through the color scheme, and the colors will be in different spots. Let's flip this over. The colors will be in different spots on here, but it doesn't matter because in this activity, I'm just trying to create a big group of thank you cards that I can donate to one of the charities that I support, and they just need to look like they're color coordinated and use up some of the things that I've already got in my stash. So I'm adding 3 of the die cuts in at a time, as I mentioned earlier, and then I'm starting with the yellow. I basically run through and stamp the yellow 2 or 3 times, depending on the coverage that I receive, and then move on to the next 3 panels. Once I've completed these, I'm then going to check in and take a look at what color combinations am I going to use for each of the bases. That way I know that I can actually transition from the yellow through to an alternate color without actually going from light to dark and then back to light again. Making sure that I had really good coverage was really important as part of this step, as was how tacky the tape was that was behind my template. If it was too sticky, it got really difficult to pull out those panels, but I think I managed to get it into a really good space. I thought what I should do is actually try and work out with these panels, is there some color combinations that I can figure out in advance. If I look at all of these, they are a bit of a hodgepodge. I'm thinking perhaps this teal with the silver and red. So if I had a grey and a red and a blue, I think that would actually work really well. Then I've ended up with quite a few green panels. These are green and white as well, so I think the green check is okay. These are all plain green. Got this dark one, plain green or plain orange. So if I merge these ones together over here, then the question is, you know, what can I come up with that goes with the greens? So now that I've worked out the different color combinations for the cards, I'm going to start working through stamping all of the panels. The first thing I'm going to do is complete the yellow, and now that I know I'm using the yellow on 2 of the card combos, I can work my way through and do the number of panels that I know I'm going to need. To keep things really simple, what I've done is rounded it up to the nearest 3. So I'm actually doing a few extras, and I'll add some panels later to complete those cards. The 3 panels I just did were actually a green, and what I was really hoping for was a grey. You'll notice I just pop those to the side, and I do come back to them later. But the soft granite grey ink that I've used for the grey panels is actually more what I was looking for. You can see that I'm now adding it to the panels that are going to be used for the green. So I have the yellow from the first pass through. I'm now sorting through doing the second pass, which is the grey. And then the next one here is the green. Once I've gone through all of my green, I'll have completed my first set of sentiment for the cards. Using the same colour multiple times with the yellow and the grey means that if I'm a bit strategic here, I can work through these pretty quickly. Moving on now to the teal. So this is the teal that will go with the grey and with the red. Moving on now to blue. So I'm trying to keep the colour families so that I'm going from lightest to darkest when I'm inking up my stamp to reduce the likelihood of transfer. So this medium blue is on 2 of the card designs. So I'm going through and I'm adding it to the yellow. You'll then notice that I have some blank panels. These were the extras, and I just decided that I would make up a 5th colour combination by using their spare panels and making sure nothing went to waste, but also that I didn't create any leftovers, because my whole goal with doing this was to use up the 44 multicolored 5 1/4 by 4 back panels. So if I created more leftovers, it would have defeated the purpose of the activity. Here I am adding the navy. So the navy was used with the yellow and the blue. Once I run through this, I'm pretty sure that I then add it to the spare panels. So those spare panels are now blue and navy. These ones can be used for, you know, any neutral color. We'll put these spare panels to use. Now that I'm back with the teal and the gray, I'm doing the red. So for the red, I had to do a couple of stamps for each one so that I get a nice bright and vibrant red. I also then used it for the spare panels. So I now have a blue, red and navy. And again, those ones turn out to be one of my favorites in the end. Now I'm doing the final 2 panels, and that's all of them stamped. Okay, so I've made all of my panels, and wow, that took a lot longer than I was expecting. You can see here I accidentally stamped without the paper and I created a red hot mess, but I persisted and it still worked. As long as I wiped it down and there was no ink coming off, it was just fine. Just so that you know what colors I've used, let me show you. I constantly use different brands and mix them all together. This was Sunflower from Lawn Fawn that was used for these 2 here. And then in the middle here, I'll put Soft Granite from Hero Art. So that was the gray. I used the New Surf Positively Saturated ink, which has the foam pad from Simon Says Stamp. I used Hero Art's Strawberry in the hybrid ink. This is one of the bold ink colors for the red. I used Lawn Fawn Fish Tank for the blue, and I used Studio Calico Color Theory Deja Blue for the navy. I've been trying to work out what looks the best when making the cards, and I was trying to determine if propping it up a little bit actually makes a material difference to the card. And I don't think it does. It's going to take me extra time to do it, and I think that this card here, while it looks a little plain, does look really good. And as a thank you to someone, I think they will enjoy it. I thought I would start with the teal ones over here on the right. And what I found is when I put the plain paper and then the thank you, it is a very, very simple card. While I think this one looks really cool because I love the brightness of this background color, I was trying to work out how I could step it up a little bit. I'll show you one of the other colors. Added some stamping to the teal panels to try it out and just see, with that little bit of extra interest. It takes 2 minutes to stamp this on the background. And my thought was, if it looks materially better, then I would take the time to do it. Now, I think With some of the colors it does look materially better, but the teal looked really plain, but for some reason I love this on its own, and I'm not gonna put the design. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go through each of the pattern papers and align it with the sentiment, and then just make a decision about whether or not it needs more interest on the backing panel. The stamp that I've been using is a new one that I got. It's called Circle Celebrations Background, and it's from My Favorite Things. Okay, so all of the panels are finished. I actually even stamped, I had a couple of spare ones where I had stamped with green leaf, and it was a bit greener than I was hoping for with the grey, so I had these spare. When I have changed my mind about these ones being a bit too busy for this other colour, these will actually work. Now all I need to do is tape the cards together. So I basically just need to attach the back panels and then glue on the thank you sentiment for each one. The first colour combo is the 3 cards where I actually ended up using the opposite side. So this is the green, orange and the yellow. It's also the panels where I'd originally tried to stamp grey, but because of my colour choice I moved on and chose something different. But here you can see I'm just making it work. Moving on to combo number 2, this is the teal, grey and red. Just adding some glue and adding it to each of those panels. I don't need to fuss with it too much, it's a very forgiving sentiment. I literally put some glue on, trying to get a little bit close to the edge so that I get really good coverage. And then I'm putting it on a bit of an angle in the top 2/3 of the card. Moving on to colour combination number 3, the yellow, the blue and the navy. When I worked through all of mine, I did have leftover panels, so you can see there that I'm using a craft background. I've used craft and I've used like a medium grey to use all of the leftovers. Rounded things off to the closest number 3. Combo number 4 is the green, yellow and grey. These are all being attached to completely different colours of green cardstock or green backing panels. But because of the colours that I've chosen, all of them matches really well and I'm really happy with how they turned out. Okay, combo number 5. This is what I called my spare panels. So I chopped out a whole bunch of the die cuts and then I worked my way through getting the 44, and it turns out I had 58 panels. So I used some of them for those orange, green and yellow, and then the rest I turned into blue, navy and red. I've finished off my 58 cards. I've created them all using the same layout and 5 different colour combinations for the die cut or the sentiment. This first bundle is a bit of an eclectic mix that ended up with the medium blue, the navy and the yellow sentiment. I also managed to use the yellow in another colour combination. So you can see the yellow here again, but this time with the grey and the green. All of the backgrounds for this bundle are all different colours of green. So I was able to use the yellow and the grey to match up with it because I was already using those with other colour combinations. For this bundle here, I've got grey, red and silver and teal coloured backgrounds. You can see these really super bright ones here for the red, they look so cool. And then the shimmery of the silver. 3 with a green, and I used some of the leftover panels. I also then created the navy, the blue and the red and partnered that up with some grey backgrounds. 58 cards in total. Thanks for sticking through to the end. I hope you enjoyed them. I've put another video here I think you'd like, and have a great day.